Let's clap it on the end, man. You know what I mean? For those of you online, we're a little bit late. Came from a show, by Zimbo in Brum. Let me tell you something, man. There's a video. If you didn't see on your Facebook Live, you'll see, when it comes out officially. But listen, man, Officer Karafia done an excellent job, man. He broke down the reason why, black homes are the way they are, man. And it is Christianity. Let me tell you something, man. Officer Karafia, Officer 5000 in the I.S.U.P.K in the U.K. broke it down, man. You know what I mean? While I'm live, even people in the crowd like, that's a heavy point, man. You're right. Why? Because the I.S.U.P.K has the truth, man.
That's right.
We got the truth. And that's something that your Christian church doesn't have, your Muslim mosque does not have. And that's why we can go anywhere and people have to agree with us. They may not like it. They may think, all manner of things about us. But at the end of the day, that it's the truth that comes out of our mouths, man.
That's right.
When we speak, man. So, you can check the video on Facebook, I.S.U.P.K, United Kingdom. We went live. And of course, we'll be working on a video on it as well, man. So do look out for that, yeah? So what we got, man? What's been going on the ends? Haven't been here in a little while, man. And, it's good to be back.
It's like I'm just trying to find a quick video that we did. We did a video years ago, seeing that it's Remembrance Day today. It's November the 11th. At 11 o'clock, everyone had a 1 minute silence. Trying to get a video that you did some years back on Remembrance Day. It's constant find out, man.
Yeah, and even that, man. In the UPK, we do things that you're too scared to do, man. Let me tell you something. This is about 3 years ago, man. There was Remembrance Day, and only the I.S.U.P.K, we went into central London, man.
That's right.
And we interviewed people on Remembrance Day. And why? On Remembrance Day, you don't remember black people, man. We did it. We went there, man. And that's something your fake Israelite group is too scared to do, man. That's something you and Muslims are afraid to do. Let me just say something. On Remembrance Day, I walked through central London. There wasn't a Muslim in sight, man.
That's right.
There wasn't no man dressing no skinny legs and socks in sight, man. Why? Because you're scared, man. You can't do what we do. And guess what? I was there in a headpiece, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Why? Because we're no cowards, man. We're in there.
For anyone that don't know, Remembrance Day is the same as Memorial Day in America, man. In fact, it falls on the same day. So they remember the war, they remember their loved ones, they remember their dead ones that died in the war, and whatever the case may be, man. You know what I mean? When I mean they, I mean England, I mean the white man, I mean the oppressor, his people. He cares about his people. Meanwhile, tells blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that we should forget about ours, man. Tells that we should forget about slavery. We should forget about the oppression of our people. Meanwhile, he remembers his. So Captain Prussia went to Remembrance Day, man. He went down there with a couple soldiers, man. I started speaking to some of these oppressors, man, about what they think about Remembrance Day. Then they asked them, so what do you think about black people that fought in World War I and World War II as well? And that's some funny answers, man. So, okay.
So that being said, are you proud to still World War I and the Second World War as well?
The Empire of the Commonwealth, so we fully appreciate it, not just British, Afro-Caribbean, Asian, East Asian, India, Singapore, Australia. So it was a worldwide conflict and a worldwide fight for freedom.
I've got this. So just the last thing, right? I see this monument here now on the Brixton High Street. There's a monument for the soldiers of the West Indies. Like, why doesn't no one know about that, or why doesn't that get the same, or why doesn't that one get recognized as much as this one here? Like,
absolutely, it's a fair comment.
I.S.U.P.K.
And that's what even the devil here couldn't deny. The devil said, yo, that's a fair comment, man. Even he couldn't deny it. And Captain Pasha goes, so, everyone's gathered for this big monument, to commemorate World War II, World War I. But there's one for black people in Brixton. Why ain't no one there? It's a fair comment. You don't know. It's like you say, what is it?
Yeah, and listen, he can't answer it. Why? Because no one's never made him think like that, man. You know what I mean? What they like to do, they like to live a lie. And that question there brought him back to reality. Like, well, it's clear that this is racism because if this monument was for everyone, then there wouldn't be one on the Brixton High Street, man.
That's right.
It's clear that it's not rocket science. If there's a monument on the Brixton High Street, you are implying the one in central London is for the white soldiers, the one on the Brixton High Street is for the black ones. So then why doesn't no one go to that one? Why doesn't the Queen take well, she's dead now. Why doesn't Prince Charles take a detour and put a wreath on that one? Why? Because no one cared about the black soldiers that fought to keep England free from German occupation.
That's right. And that's how it always is, man. When you think about England, you think about tea and crumpets and white people. You don't think about the black people that made it great, man. We're the slaves of this country. When you think about Egypt, when you go to Egypt, man, and you go on, what's it called again?
Sarcophagus.
Oh, what's it called when you go on holiday, man? You have a
expedition.
That's the one. Oh shit, what is it again, man? Expedition. That's what it called, man. You go jet skiing and stuff. You go jet ski. Excursion. You go to excursion and you see the pyramids, and you jump on the back of a camel and you're looking at the Sphinx and everything. You're thinking about how great the Egyptians were. You ain't thinking about the slaves that built Egypt. When you go to France and you look at the Eiffel Tower and wow, this is nice. You ain't thinking about the Haitians, man, and the people from Guadeloupe and Martinique that pick cotton and cane to make it so great. And likewise with England, when you're thinking about how great England is and how wonderful it is, we get it. But you're thinking how great England is and how wonderful it is. You ain't thinking about black people. And that's what England is. That's why everyone, the Queen, King Charles, all them people there, they gather around. It's called a cenotaph. It's a big monument for World War I and II. And it's called a cenotaph. And they take it seriously too, man. They have poppies on their chests. And if you ain't got one, they're offended. In fact, they put it on their lorries, they put it on their trucks, man. And they're offended if you don't have one. They take Remembrance Day serious. It's something that they want to remember. They said, what? We should never forget. They said, what? November 11, what's it again? The day the guns, what? I said, come on, man. No, you'll be on camera. The day the guns fell silent. And they said, we will never forget, man. Meanwhile, they forgot about black people that fought in World War I, that fought in World War II to make it so great, man. It's like a damn boss. So what to bring up? Let's speak loud because the mic's over here.
You want to go to it now? You want to go to it in a bit?
Yeah, go on about the topic anyway. So you're talking about as well, yeah. No, sweet. So what are you saying, sorry?
Also, all the money that Barbados sent as well. Barbados sent over £20 million to the British to help them in their war efforts. They also gave them 20,000 in sugar as well. Imagine you pick sugar for free, and now you're giving it back to the same people that made you pick it for free in hopes that they win the war. It kind of makes no sense. Even Marcus Garvey sent a telegram saying, "Great Britain, the country of the King, we are with you, and we hope you win the war, and we're praying." Marcus Garvey said he's praying for Great Britain to win the war. He prayed for them to win the war.
What is that? That's what you can find.
Yeah, it's in his autobiography.
Damn, let me see, man.
Type in Marcus Garvey telegram. You can type in Marcus Garvey World War I or World War II telegram. I can't remember which one it was. Probably when did Marcus Garvey? Probably World War I. No, it might be World War II actually. Nah, telegram. Type in Marcus Garvey World War. Yeah. Is it on there? Or type in Marcus Garvey supporting Britain in war efforts or whatever. Pop up.
British war.
Yeah, click on that one. Does it come on? Because it might be.
Nah, I don't think we'll find it still. No, sweet.
Nice. It's on record where he sent a telegram. Imagine that, to send a telegram back then. You know how expensive it is to phone England from Jamaica back then.
Trust me, without WhatsApp call,
Banana cards, without all of that. Obviously nowadays it's free, but back then it wasn't free, man. You had to go get a banana card. He sent a telegram to Great Britain saying, "Oh, we support you in your war efforts. We hope you win the war." All of them were supporting Britain, man. Like we were saying, Barbados had poor kids there, and imagine all the money they raised up to send it to England, man, for them to fight the Germans and all these other countries, the Central Powers and whatnot. And the thing is, this man, Great Britain, they've been like a enemy to us forever, man.
That's right.
Imagine the same way how Germany was an enemy to England. England have been an enemy to black people.
That's
man.
right.
Imagine we helping an enemy who's been an enemy to black people. We should have been saying, "Yo, I hope Germany lose and England lose, man." We should have been saying, "You know what? I hope they both lose." But what did we do? Supported England, man, because we were scared what the Germans did. Listen, what the British done to us here, I don't think anything could get any worse than that. People will let you know that the British Empire was the most brutish empire of all of them. They'll let you know that obviously other empires were brutal, but the British one was the worst one. Anybody else would have treated you better than the British, man.
That's right.
We still would have got treated like garbage, but we would have got treated better than how the British treated
That's what the British did to us. Hitler can't top that.
Hitler can't top that.
Come on, man.
Hitler would have been nice compared to what the British done to us, man. And they sent a telegram, but you can get the pictures in there if you want.
No, sir. It's like
All right, so what do we have right here? We have Queen Elizabeth doing the Nazi salute, man. That's Queen Elizabeth learning the Nazi salute. It says secret 1933 film shows Edward VIII teaching this Nazi salute to the Queen. And why is Queen Elizabeth doing this Nazi salute? Because originally she's German, man.
That's right.
Originally she's German, so this Nazi salute is just naturally what they do. They changed their name from something Gotha.
Saxe, a Kaffer, a Gotha.
Yeah, Saxe, Kaffer, Gotha. They changed their name from that, man. Why? Because that name was too German for Great Britain. They also changed their name from that. Why? Because Germany had bombs called the Gotha bombers, man. Type in Gotha bombers. Germany had bombs, airplanes called the Gotha bombers, and it wouldn't have went down right with the British. Now, GOTHK. So it wouldn't have went down well with the British that they're in the house, they're in Windsor, but they're in Buckingham Palace, and there's a thing called Gotha bombers, which has the same surname as them. And these bombers came from, these warplanes came from Germany, man. And they're called the Gotha bombers. So the Queen and her family seen this, and they said, because I'm the Queen of England, what do we have to do? We have to change our surname, man. So they changed their surname from that surname to the House of Windsor. Because before that, they came from the House of Hanover, man, under George I. So it was George I. Then after him, all the way on down to Queen Elizabeth, that was the House of Germans, man. And it will let you know that George I, when he first came, was the king over England. He couldn't even speak English. All he spoke was German. And it will let you know that Prince Philip, he was going to German boarding schools and everything. He also had a German surname as well. And what did he do? Changed his surname to his mother's surname, man. So now you know him as Philip. What is it? Hattenberg, something Berg or something. Van Hatten or something. He changed his surname from his original surname was Schleswig or something like that, man. A full-on German name. He changed that German name. Why? Because he was marrying the Queen of England, and he couldn't have the public realizing that he's German. Get me the next one.
Was it the Gotha bomber? Was a heavy bomber used by, I can't pronounce it, Lutzfigkeit, Imperial German Air Service.
It was a what?
Imperial German Air Service.
So if the Queen is a German, why did she have a German surname, man? Why was the Gotha bomber named after her? The Gotha bomber was named after her, man. Well, not after her, but after it was German, and they was named similar. Get me the next one. So that's the Queen doing the Nazi salute. People say she's young. Now, who's this right here? This is also her husband, Prince Philip, man. Prince Philip is the one with the red circle, and who's the man around him? That is Nazis, man. That's Nazis around him. Why?
That's Prince Philip was when he was young. Yeah. I can see it. I seen that flip the rays over there.
Yeah, him. So look at all those around him. That's Nazis around him, man. Why? Because his sister was his family was part of the Nazi party. Now here is at his sister's funeral. He had a sister that died in a plane crash. She died in a plane crash, and this is her funeral. And her and her husband was both in the Nazi party. And this is him at the funeral, surrounded by Nazis. Prince Philip had a lot of German families, man. Why? Because his sister had kids, and all of his sisters, he had 3 or 4 sisters. And who did they marry? They all married German princes, man. They're all 2 of them married German men, which was in the army fighting against Great Britain, man. And they had kids with them. And Prince Philip came to England and tried to lie and make out that he's not German, man. All he did to hide the fact that he was German was what? Stopped his sisters from coming to the wedding, because the British public wouldn't receive it well. But history lets you know that Prince Philip had a tight relationship with his family, man, with his German family. Behind the scenes, they were super close. Get me the next one.
Damn.
And look at them; those is full of Nazi costumes, man.
Look at the people in the background as well doing the salute.
There you go. They're doing the salute, and Prince Philip is happy with it, man. Now, who do we have here? Now you have who? Princess Sophia, who is Prince Philip's sister. This is Prince Philip's sister, and she's at lunch. Who's that man sitting opposite lunch with her? That is Adolf Hitler, man.
That's right.
That is Adolf Hitler. And she had children with her husband, and they joined the Nazi party. And type in give me Karl Adolf of Hesse. Type in Karl Adolf, and it should come up. Nah, K. It spells it with a K.
My good thing.
Yeah, that one. Go down, Prince Karl Adolf, the second one. That one. So now there's a man called Prince Karl Adolf of Hesse, and Prince Philip's sister went to lunch with Hitler, and she named her son after him, man. This man right here is the nephew of Prince Philip. This man right here is the cousin of King Charles III, man. He's the cousin of King Charles III. So all of these was German families. Imagine this: Great Britain's fighting against the Germans, but on the German side is all of Prince Philip's family. All of them is Prince Philip's family. And you do know in 2021, some of them Germans came to Prince Philip's funeral, man. They came to Prince Philip's funeral. So don't let them lie to you, man, and make out like they're not German. They come from a German house, and this is Karl Adolf. His name was Adolf. Why? Because his mother named him after Adolf Hitler, and this is Prince Philip's nephew. And to hide the fact, and to hide it from the British public, what did they do? All they did was didn't let them come to the wedding, and then behind closed doors, they were sending presents to each other and everything, man. They was having phone calls with each other, and Prince Philip said, Prince Philip said, I want my German side to come to the funeral. Type in Prince Philip's German family at the funeral.
Listen,
man. Now you probably can just get the article. Type in Prince Philip's family at the Prince Philip's German family at the funeral, and it was known fact that the grandson of a Nazi who joined the Nazi party, who was tight friends with Hitler, his grandson was at Prince Philip's funeral, man.
It's the one.
Actually, type in what's that one say?
So at his wish.
At his what?
At his wish.
So much for being British. Imagine people died for this, and at your wish, you're inviting your so-called enemies to your funeral, man. You're inviting your so-called enemies to your funeral. It says at his wish, meaning he invited them.
Wait 1 second.
It's moving slow.
Yeah. All of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
Prince Philip, man, for the trying to Prince Philip German family trying to mess stuff up, man. 2 seconds. All right, I got it. At his wish.
At his what?
At his wish.
He wanted them there, man. Imagine you're mad at the Germans. You're mad at the Germans because you love England so much. And Prince Philip wanted his German family, who was no Nazi party members, at his funeral, man. Go ahead.
Philip's German relatives attend funeral despite family's Nazi past.
Despite what?
Family's Nazi past.
Despite family's Nazi past, man. Listen, man. He knew that his family had a Nazi past. Because why? He was a prince in Denmark and Greece before they got ran out of that land. And then what? He was living in Germany, man. He moved back to Germany and was going boarding schools in Germany. And all his sisters married princes of what's it called now? Give me Philip Donatus of Hesse. Give me Philip Donatus of Hesse, Nazi Party. It should come up. It's supposed with an A, so Donatus. Donatus.
Von Hessen.
Nah, yeah, see if that's the right one. No, yeah, HESSE, yeah. Oh, so type in after that Nazi Party, type in Philip Donatus of Hesse, Nazi Party. Hey, what year did he join the Nazi Party? See, says he joined the Nazi Party in 1930.
1 second. So who's Philip of Hesse?
And Philip of Hesse is one of them German princes as well. So he's obviously he died a long time ago, but what it is, he joined the Nazi Party, and if Philip was so mad of this man being a Nazi, why would he invite Philip of Hesse's grandson to his grandson was at the funeral, man. Which means you had grandson of Nazis at your funeral, man.
Philip Landgrave of Hesse, Philip Prince.
What year did he join the Nazi Party? Yeah.
It says Landgrave of Hesse, born the 6th of November 1896 to the 25th of October 1980, was head of.
Listen, man, if Philip Landgrave of Hesse was alive after Prince Philip, he would have been at the funeral too, man.
That's right.
They would have all been at the funeral. The reason most of these wasn't at the funeral is why? Because they was dead. The reason why Karl Adolf of Hesse wasn't at the funeral, why? Because he was dead, man. He died in like 2000 something at the age of 80 or whatever. But what year did he join?
He joined the Nazi Party in 1930.
He joined the Nazi Party in 1930, man. Listen, the Queen, they've got German roots, and there was all Nazis, man. And all these people is who? Cousins to King Charles III, man. All these people are his first cousins, and they're all related, and they all keep in touch, and they all keep in contact, man. Imagine everybody else in Great Britain hates Germans, but then the kings and queens of England is related to Germans because they are German, man.
That's mad, Dango Barkers. Like, what you saying is deep because you had black people, like you said, brothers in Barbados were sending money over there. Black people was giving their life. So England don't get taken over by the Nazis. You're giving their life, God save the Queen. At the time it was the king. When the king was a Nazi anyway, man. He was a Nazi himself anyway. That's we caught up in a game played by the white man, man. And black man, we tired of playing this game. We got a kingdom of our own, man. So like it on
Listen, the all family, the all friends, man. Listen, let's go back to World War. You know that they put black men in the trenches, why? Because they didn't want black men harming white soldiers, man. It didn't sit right with them. It didn't sit right with them. They was like, we don't want black men harming white soldiers. And they didn't want black people fighting in the war anyway. It lets you know that because Germany was dropping so much bombs on England, England turned to its colonies, man. Because why they was losing? So England said, all right, we need to turn to our colonies. Really, they didn't want no black men in the army flying airplanes and shooting guns. They didn't want you doing that. But because you were so skilled and good at it and they was losing, that's why they turned team, man. Don't ever feel important and feel like, November 11th, this 2-minute silence is for me. Because it's not for you, man.
That's right.
That's why they don't ever go to, what's the Brixton? I don't remember the name of it. Where is it?
But Brixton High Street.
Wherever they got the little...
Yeah. What's Windrush Road, is it? I think they named it Windrush Road. Or Square, one of them, yeah.
So they got some little monument there. And the thing is this, most of the black people in the army, their body was never recovered. You just think, because the war was so rough. It's because you was black and England don't care about bringing your body back home, man. What you see is every time a white man in the army dies, what happens? Comes back, nice coffin with the British flag draped all over it.
The 31. Look at 21 gunshots in the air.
Give me a Watertoe's body. Let's see if they found Watertoe's body, who was probably greater than every white man in the army. Let's see if he got a decent burial.
What, Watertoe?
Yeah, type in Watertoe. Just type in his body and it might just keep it good. Let's see if he got a decent burial. That one might be... Or you might have to go on his Wikipedia and type in
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, sorry.
Let's see what happened to Watertoe's body. Let's see if he got a decent burial for being in the army.
So that's Watertoe, a black man at 40. World War II, was it? Let me skip down some. It says.
No, I think it was World War One. Him, right? He was World War One, right? I believe it was World War One. Yeah, it was World War One. If it's 1918, yeah, World War. Yeah. You're playing with that shot. Sorry,
and if I can add, it's very sad because what Walter Atoll doesn't know that his fight was in vain. Because while he's fighting for England against Nazi Germany, all the heads of it, they're all family anyway.
Right.
They all love each other. They're all sending gifts, and what they've done to black people, from the West Indies, they gave us false hope. It's like you made us believe that the fight was to help England against Nazi Germany, the wicked Nazis, when the royal family, they related to them. And you know what I mean? All of it was one big lie, and that's what they do, man. They've given us false hope for so many years, believing we're going to achieve something, believing if we help the oppressor enough, there's a reward we're going to get. And it's sad because we don't get that reward. And what they've told you about this fight is not even true, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Come on, consider Watertoe. It's a Toll and the 23rd Battalion returned to northern France on the 8th of March 1918. He was killed in action near the village of Faverolles in Pas de Calais. On the 25th of March, during the first battle of Bapaume, the early stages of the German army's offspring offense, his body was never recovered. His body was never recovered.
I wonder why. Listen, man, they recover every single white man's body.
That's right.
But when it comes to black people's body, they don't recover it. You know why? Because they don't want to bury you in their war cemetery, man. They have a war cemetery where all the war heroes are buried, and there ain't no black people in there. You're in a unmarked grave, man.
That's right.
Because they're trying to write you out of history. They don't want people to know, all right, a black man fought in the war, man. Listen, man, black people fought in the war, and after the army, they was like, go back home. Things got so bad that after the war, black men had their medals in their army outfit, and there was no jobs out there. They weren't giving black people jobs. So what was they doing? Selling their medals, man. Selling their army gear, wife, food. This is why nowadays it's rare to find that a black man will tell you I used to be in the army, but he's got no medals to show for it.
Because he sold them.
He sold them. And imagine this. Now, a black man that did fight for this white man's country, there's some white men that didn't even fight for their own country.
That's right.
And they have the cheek to tell the black man that fought for their country, go back home. When you protected their home while they stayed at home.
No, there's white people lying, saying they got asthma and they got a bad back. And some of them will even get locked up. They're too coward to fight for their own country, man.
And meanwhile, we did it. Imagine this. Black men that fought in the army and didn't die in the army, after the war, guess what? They was getting killed just by regular white people, man. Because this oppressor so racist, he was just killing them. Regular white people was killing these men that was in the military, man. Why? Because they just don't like black people. Which means whenever they're fighting, we should just sit back and just let them fight, man. That's right. And that's what we're going to do for World War III. We're going to sit back and just let them fight.
That's right.
Fight, man. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man. That was deep. And even they didn't want black people fighting in the war, so they put us in the trenches, man. To get trench foot. Anyone know what trench foot is? Trench foot is like all the bacteria, man, goes in your socks and makes your feet rot, man. You know what I mean? The black man had trench foot into that. He said he used to poke his foot with a bayonet. A bayonet is a knife on the end of the gun. I said he couldn't even feel anything, man. Couldn't even feel it, man. Let me see if we get a picture of trench foot, man. Listen, don't vomit, man.
No, it was disgusting, man. Yeah.
What they did to black people, they didn't want to fight in the war, so they just threw us in the trenches, man. Get all types of diseases like this. It's mad because homeless people don't get trench foot. Nah, I won't show it, man. It's too bad.
No, sure. Sure.
Listen, it's Google trench foot, but fuck it out. It's hard to see, man. I might get flagged. It's horrible, man. We get feet all rot and everything, man. It's disgusting to see, man. You know what I mean? Let me see what thingy. Oh, you saw the Queen's Guard get egg, man. That shit was hilarious. No, the king said the Queen Charles got eggs, man. Apparently got locked up for it. Play a laptop for egging them, man.
I think this is we're doing for the schools
Yo. And listen, what's wrong with white people, man? Listen, if you don't like them, just don't be there, man. Listen, throwing an egg at anybody, let alone the king's consort, is assault, man. You can't just go around assaulting people you don't like them, man. It's egging people, man. Listen, white people something else, man. What else were they doing this weekend? They was blocking the motorway with their bicycles because they want to keep Britain insulated. What do they call it? What's it called? Insulate Britain, I think they're called. And they're blocking the motorway, man. Why? Because they want the word out there. There's other ways, man. The UPK, we're known for getting our word out there, and we don't block no motorways, man. We don't egg nobody, man. We don't run into, like what the white man did in America. We don't run into the capital and storm the capital. We go out there on the streets, man. But it's oppressor, such a brat, such a spoiled brat and a baby that he got to harm people just to get his word across. He got to go on London Bridge and egg people, man. He got to go on the motorway and stop people from going to the slaveries. Stop people that are dying and are in ambulances from getting to where they're going, just so he can get his voice heard, man, and just so he can get his point across, man. So lucky, man.
Yeah, and what's heavy is like off the back of what you said, England makes the oppressor feel he's entitled, meaning he must get his way, when that's not life. But when you're in a country where you get everything you want, if you're moan enough, if you can complain enough, then what? You feel everything should go your way. If you feel like, the earth is being, that basically in the earth, the cars are wrong, you're going to block the motorway, man. Why? Because you feel entitled, like, well, I think cars are bad, so I should do this. And the world don't evolve around you, man.
Right.
But when you're under an empire that's always had their way, oppressed people for 400 years, gone all over the earth, took gold, took resources.
That's right.
Then the people that live there, they feel entitled.
That's right.
You've done it all over the earth. So what? The people on the land in their mind think, well, I must have my way too. I'm from the British Empire. We've always had our way. And what do? Block the motorway, throw eggs when they want, get upset, and think they're entitled to everything. Why?
It's like you said,
kids, man.
they even tear down the city when their team loses, man. They riot because their team lost, man. That's how it's a bunch of big behaviors, man. It's like, is it?
No, absolutely, man. Like kids, it's literally like big kids that just want to moan and have their way. And if they don't, people have to pay, and I'm entitled. But I didn't get it. Well, life isn't all about you, man. Life ain't all about what you want and what makes you happy and what you want to get, or how upset you get for what you don't get. But listen, man, that's what England made, man. And now they're dealing with it.
That's right. So this one, we get the next one that I saw today. Kind of pissed me off, actually.
A Hebrew,
I'm sure.
I'm not an Israelite. See my ancestor them no name Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See my ancestor them name Odudua and Orumila. My ancestor them Abrewa and Kwekwan. My ancestor them name Moyenge and Mochunde and Mondongo. See my ancestor them name Nana or Nana. See my name Taki and Pongo. Ancestor and Class. See my ancestor them name Nganga Zumba and Zumbi. See my ancestor them name Adbaraya Toya and Shaka and Nandi. Them are the name of Fimi ancestor. They now get ancestor. And furthermore, we not give praises to no divine being. We don't recognize and can't understand the name of Fimi ancestor them. Oh.
1 second. 1 second. 2 seconds.
What's his religious beliefs?
It's changed.
Some Afrocentric shit. 2 seconds. Let me refresh that.
I got something for this before that.
not a Hebrew, I'm not an Israelite. See my ancestor them no name Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See my ancestor them name Odudua and Orunmila. See my ancestor them name Abrewa and Kwekuanansi. See my ancestor them name Moyenge. I'm not a Jew, I'm not a Hebrew, I'm not an Israelite. See my ancestor them no name Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See my ancestor them name Odudua and Orunmila. See my ancestor them name Abrewa and Kwekuanansi. See my ancestor them name Moyenge and Mochunde and Mondongo. See my ancestor them name Nana or Nani. See my ancestor them name Taki and Opongo. See my ancestor them name Busa and Class. See my ancestor them name Nganga Zumba and Zumbi. See my ancestor them name Adbaraya Toya and Shaka and Nandi. Them are the name of female ancestor them. We not beg nobody else ancestor. And furthermore, we not give praises to no divine being, but don't recognize and can't understand the name of female ancestor them. Oh.
God, it's lucky, man. This brother here, man, he just denied his culture and don't even know it, man.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, what's so dumb about that? So you won't pray to a God, but you'll pray to people that died, man.
Right.
Do you know how silly that sounds? Okay, there's a God that has and never died, and you don't want to pray to him, but you want to pray to someone who you know died, man. Some probably died of cancers or all manner of things. So there wasn't that strong because they died. So what benefit do you get of praying to them when guess what? They died like everybody else, man. When guess what? There's a God in heaven that don't die, man. There's a God in heaven that can make things happen. He can stop the rain. So even that logic there, it's ridiculous. And then, you know, what they go into the Israelites, the Jews. Well, you know what I mean? Even that don't make sense. If what you believed in was so right, how come no one doesn't even know about it? Let me tell you something. The Bible is the most sold book on the face of the earth. Why?
That's right.
Because people want to know about the God of the Jews, man. This Bible talks about the Babylonians, Syrians, Greeks, Romans, Persians, Medes. And guess what? God saved those people numerous times. And you're reading about it. Your ancestor couldn't even save himself, man. Your ancestor was an alcoholic, man. A zombie, he couldn't get off weed, man. So you praying to him, how's it going to help you? And it's not. And really, people like him look for things like that because they don't want to do things the right way, man. In the Bible, Christ says, I'm the door, man. If you come any other way, you're a thief and a robber, meaning you try to get to the Lord some other way. It's like trying to rob the ability from him, man. And that's what people like him do. They try to find other religions or concepts because they don't want to serve God the right way, man. They want to do it how they feel they should do it or what is easier for them while they're getting high.
Let me tell you, this brother denied himself. He denied himself. He said, my foreparents ain't Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he started listing African names and said, listen, these are my foreparents, man. This man denied himself for people that are less than him. This man said, my foreparents ain't Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These are righteous men of the Bible. Righteous men of the Bible, men that God made a covenant with. He said, I don't want to be related to them. And you know what he did? He said, I'd rather be related to these men. And he listed a long name of names of people that are known for eating duty, man. People that are known for being homosexuals. He named a long list of people that are known for putting plates in their lips, man. This man just named a list of disgusting Africans that are nobody, and those are the people that he wants to be a part of. He just named a list of people that have plates in their lips, are known for cutting themselves, are known for cutting women's clitorises off, man, are known for eating cow shit and putting their head in cows behinds, man. That's who he wants to be, and he thinks that there's somebody. That's because of Christianity. Christianity has destroyed black people and make us think that the other nations, their heritage is better than ours, and it ain't, man. You do some research. He goes, my ancestors are Tongo and Patongo. All them people that you're naming, all of them are homosexuals, man. All of them are known for eating bushmeat, man. He just named a list of Africans that are full of Ebola and AIDS, man. That's who we just named. Just named full of men that are full of Ebola and AIDS, man. And denied what some righteous men that who actually do stem from, man. It's lucky, man.
And it's mad with obviously black people have been saying the African for years, and when they say it, no one cares, there's no uproar. The thing is this, everybody knows being a Jew is the thing to be. Even the white man wants to be a Jew. You'll never hear the white man saying, I'm African. He wants to be a Jew. Why? Because he knows that there's power in being a Jew, man. There's no power in being an African. Listen, them Africans had no power back then, and they got no power now, man. You're trying to be something that you're not. If you were so African, they wouldn't have sold you. They sold you, and you ended up in the Caribbean. And the saddest thing is, Africans don't even claim us, man. Africans do not claim us at all. When you speak to real Africans and see what they think about niggas, man. They can't stand us. It's us trying to love them. What names do they say? Nana. It named a ton of Ghanaian names. Named a ton of Ghanaian names. Listen, you're none of those, man. You're none of those. And we need to stop thinking we're African, man. Obviously, now everyone's realizing that's a lie. Everyone's realizing who we really are. This man saying, what's the saying? I'm not related to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
What's called Monday Madness?
Yeah, Mando Madness.
I remember the Africans hitting cows behind and stuff. And
this is what tribe of them Africans that do that.
probably them, man, with Mondo and Kundu.
And also, well, what he doesn't get is, even those Ghanaian names that he's bringing out, there's history that how the Ghanaian Empire became so powerful in West Africa was because of people that descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Right.
Israelites that lived in West Africa, they built up West Africa. You mean they taught the Ghanaians how to make weapons out of iron? First, they were using wood, and it was the Israelites that cultivation of bronze and how to use iron as well. And that is a historical fact. The Jews helped the Ashanti tribe at first, and then what? They sold us into this Western Hemisphere, man. I mean, all throughout West Africa, even some of the biblical laws that they have, they ain't got it because they're Israelites. They got it because they saw how we lived, and it made sense, man. If you go to West Africa now, although they gay as hell, they got laws against homosexuality, and they burn people alive. If you go to West Africa, that's what they do right now. And where did they get it from? The Bible, man.
That's right.
In the law. And it's not because they're Israelites. So what? We influenced them, man. They saw how we lived and go, yo, this makes sense, man. This is how you uphold an empire. And that's what we did. You know what I mean? So whatever greatness he feels that West Africa has, he needs to acknowledge the people that made it great, man. And guess what? He'll come back to knowing that he is an Israelite and his fathers are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
That's right. This is the people he wants to be, man. People, when black people talk about the African, I'm African, they always speak about what the pyramids, they always speak about the Sphinx. But why don't no one speak about this, man? If you want to be African, you should go do this, man. Don't jump on a podcast talking about Matumbo, merengue, man. Go do this. You're really African. I want to see you go do this, man. I want to see you go get a cow and drink the cow's blood, because that's what they do in Africa, man.
The men grab a strong young cow and tie a tourniquet around its neck to find a vein. A special arrow is used, one to small and six to program. A dried and smoked gourd. The cow's youth blood. Then cow dung is rubbed onto the cut to seal it. The local men and boys begin drinking without hesitation.
Oh, good. And the little boy's backing it down, you know.
No, like a milkshake.
And that's what Africans do, man. Don't tell me they don't do it, man. You know what I noticed? You get a couple black people that go to Africa, yeah, and they go, oh, that's not true. Africans don't eat doo-doo. I've been. I shut up, man. You can't go. Africa's a place of 50 countries, man. You can't go to Africa for 2 weeks and tell me what they do, man. You can't go to Africa you can't go to Lagos, Nigeria, where it's built up and colonized, and talk about, I think you know African history. Listen, the UPK, we know all history, man. African people eat doo-doo, man. They have plates in their lip, they drink blood. What you're seeing is colonized Africans, man. But you're seeing the British went over there, killed them, put them in suits and ties, and now they're Christians, man. Africans cut themselves. They make tribal scars, put plates in them. It's what they do. It's their custom, man. You were there 2 weeks in a nice, what's it called, a nice resort. I think you know Africa, man. Listen, before the white man went there and taught them, a bit of civilization, this is what they do. They drink blood, man, and do it today. Don't let me get some more stuff, man, what these Africans do, man. It's like if I could.
Yeah, and also just to add on to that, even people that love ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, incest was a big thing, man. You can research it. A lot of those tombs and the bones that they find, you know what I mean? They find like big heads, clump foots, one arm bigger than the other, and those are signs of incest. So meaning, even for all you people that love, you know what I mean, the ancient Egyptian empires, the elite of Egypt or the pharaohs, they was having incest, man. They was having sex with their brothers and their fathers and their mothers, but everyone loves Egypt, the maths, the pyramids. But what about the incest, man? The bones prove that, you know what I mean, in Egypt, incest was a big thing. You know what I mean? Because by the bones, you know what I mean, on the remains, how bad the bones are show. Listen, this person, even though they're dead now, the bones prove that this is signs of incest, man. That they was having sex with another immediate member of their family. And people love the maths, the pyramids, they could do this. But what about the incest part? Everyone overlooks that, and that's the problem. Black people that love Africa, you don't love Africa. You just love what parts you pick about Africa.
That's right.
And that's what it really is, man. You ignore incest, you ignore homosexuality, you ignore bestiality, you ignore the odd things that you would never do, but you pick what you fancy, man. Why? Because deep down, you don't even believe in it too, man. That's it, man.
Oh, man. These are...
Yeah, love Christ.
Oh, Lord Christ. Fuck you, man.
Christ,
That's
no,
dumb,
sir.
man. Most on Christ, man.
Say Christ. Christ. Right, man.
I'm looking at this, man. I'm watching documentary right now in Nigeria, man. But they're eating snakes, man. With that. Oh, right, yes, right. Right here.
Go on.
You know, we're watching a documentary right now, man, where they eat bush meat in Africa, man. They eat bush meat. They go to the bush, and whatever dies of itself, they go out there and they eat it, man. In Nigeria, when you're talking about Nigeria, man, when you're talking about Tian Wayne, when you're talking about Burna Boy, and you think, nah, these are the good Africans, man. That's why I check. Tian Wayne's a Nigerian alive.
Listen, I heard Tian Wayne say in the song, I'm a flyboy, of course I'm African. Like, Africans weren't saying that shit 10 years ago. Listen, Africans being fly, that's new. She said about Eton, and now they've started to branch out a little bit. And I like what the captain was saying, man. In West Africa, there's stuff there that we taught them. It's not far-fetched, you know, like, because what they do in England is what we've taught them. Man.
That's right.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing that you see Africans do in England, we've taught them. Because first when they came to England, them Africans 15 years ago ain't the ones you seen today, man. You remember them in school when, listen, them Africans from back then ain't the Africans you seen today.
The girls and boys, man, both tomorrow. It's like that, well.
Like back then, them like didn't use deodorant and things, man. So we started deodorant and whatnot. Deodorant that didn't exist in Africa, man. In Africa, listen. Now there's a Lynx Africa now. Before then, there was no Lynx Africa, man. Now all of these things is new. Like people always want to be. When people say they're African, they want to be the kings and queens. And what about the ones with the long lip and the things in their ears, man? What about what's that tall tribe and the women are like 7, 8?
Or the Maasai tribe. The Maasai, you know.
Listen, that has to be the ugliest tribe of Africans ever, man. Pull up a picture of the Maasais. Why don't nobody want to be these ones, man? That Rasta man saying his ancestors are African. Listen, man, you ain't African, man. And Maasais is like what, 6, 7 foot tall.
And they jump for a living, innit?
Yeah, they do.
Like a sport, yeah, they can jump like over your head, yeah.
Can they jump high?
Yeah, no, I'm not about running jump. I mean a standing jump.
They can do it.
Yeah, what? Yeah, see they're jumping down.
Let me see.
The back can jump. You see it before? Otherwise, you see the Maasai try jumping.
Yeah.
The man can jump, dog, boy. You know what? You know you go to gym and you jump on them boxes and that, standing up. Do some shit like that, but the man can jump high like above your head and shit. Let me see. I'm sure
Speaking of that, everyone watch it. Talk about. So what are they supposed to get from this?
Fuck no, this joke for living. Ain't that high today, but I see the joke high still.
So what are they supposed to get from this?
Who tell you? These are men wearing skirts, you know.
Nah, these ones don't look that tall to some of the ones I've seen.
What's the purpose? What's the purpose of the jumping?
Ain't it? I don't know why they do the jumping. Like what? What's the occasion? And listen, man, we ain't Africans. Man.
That's just highlight. What?
It says to prove their strength and maturity, they jump in the air as a part of a traditional dance. The higher the jump, the stronger the guy is, and by all means, more respect.
Listen, this is how you know we ain't Africans, man. We used to prove our strength by fist fighting.
That's right.
That's how we proved it. That's how we proved our strength.
And when we were younger, remember power matches when we were younger?
Yeah.
Like, these power matches, but goddamn, these are jumps, man. So, like,
They proved their strength. Listen, we ain't them. But like we said, that brother in the video is very lost. And the reason he's lost is why? The reason he's lost is why? Because society's been teaching us for years that we're African. And they're so simply that when we came to England, people from the white man would ask people from the Caribbean, where are you from? They would say Jamaica. And this devil would say, what part of Africa is that? So in their mind, they believe you're from Africa. They don't even know geography. So what you got to realize is that the person that's telling you you're African, he doesn't know geography. He doesn't know where the Caribbean is situated in the world. He doesn't know. He thinks it's in Africa. So obviously, you hearing the whole time, you're African, you're African, you're African, you're going to believe it. So he's just a little lost. What he needs to do is come to class, and then we can give him the full breakdown, or we can give him the whole breakdown, and we give him the dictionary and all the records to show him that he's not African, man. To show him records of Africans saying that we ain't African, man. We'll show him all of those things.
Damn, and look at that, man. You know what Dangba was talking about? I shared something. This is African eating bushmeat, man. You know what I mean? This is real. This is real footage, man. I'm making this up, man. This is what they do. But again, black man, you go to Africa and you go to, they show you the pyramids and they show you some artifacts and you think, wow, I'm those people. They don't show you this, man. You know what I mean? My man that said that, is not from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's an African. He don't want to be these people, man. He don't want to be the man with the plate in his lip. He don't want to be the man with that. What's that thing in the neck? Longer by that bracelet thing in the neck.
I don't know. Probably makes your neck longer.
Makes it long. You don't want to be the man with the big thing in his ear, man. You don't want to be these that eating bushmeat, man. Eating bushmeat, man. Bushmeat is how you get Ebola. Oh, come on, man. You don't want to be that man. Look what they eat, man.
It was a porridge to me. So okay, what's that? A porridge.
Something cold.
feel like porridge to me.
I ain't fucking that porridge. No amount of sugar can fucking make that porridge nice.
It's funny, you know why the white man goes around them and he looks at them like he's like disgusting. Like, looks at them like disgusting, and they go there, showing them there. They look at them. Honestly,
they're not even hunting for meat. They got dogs out there, so the dogs can sleep, so that they can go and eat it. Don't tell me to eat the ants, bro. Let me see what I want. Oh, but yeah, man. I feel like my point, man. It's how much I eat anything, man. It's lucky. I watch too much documentaries on what they eat and their culture, man. Shit's disturbing. So lucky.
Listen, we ain't them, man. We ain't them, and they ain't us.
Damn right. So lucky. You see Matt Hancock and I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. They're asking like they're saying like, yo, they're being kind of mean still. Like, yeah, man, you kind of effed up still. Putting it on him, man. Giving him no slack. You know what I mean? No, usually like, you know what? Let me not say too much. I might hate his feelings. No one did give a damn, man. Let me see if I can find a clip.
Hey, that was been me. Yeah, bro. Well, it's obviously been. It was really tough. Because you messed up. No, I did. I messed up and I fessed up, right? I resigned, and it's no excuse, but I fell in love, right? And that is hard, and that also had a lot of other consequences, obviously. You didn't just fell in love, you were grabbing booty, bro. Oh, give over. I'm sorry, bro. You are a comedian. Matt was embarrassed. He was just like, oh, well, I fell in love. But he was grabbing the booty, bro. Man grabbed the bunda on front page. It was the Bundesliga, bro. I see you, bro. Okay. You know.
That's why the Bible says what a bishop must be blameless, man. When you're a man in charge, listen, you gotta be blameless, man. You can't be having videos of you grabbing the next man's batty, man. Grabbing the next man's wife's batty, man. You can't. Because look at that. The spotlight's on you, man. Everyone's running jokes after you. No one lets it go. No one forgets it. No one goes, oh, we made a mistake. That's it. Nah, man. Same thing with Bill Clinton. Same thing with Boris Johnson buying, expensive wallpaper. Spotlight's on you, man. That's why the UPK, we train our men to be blameless, man. You know what I mean? Train them up, make sure that, once in the spotlight, people look at you. And Matt Hancock, boy, no one would ever let him leave this down, man. You know what I mean? I'm a slave to get me out of here. Trying to get back the public vote, trying to make everyone see him as human again, trying to look human again. And even on the show, man, just mocking him, man. Baba Tunde just mocking the guy, man. Fuck you, I don't go, man.
And they're making him do all the challenges as well.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. I think what it is, I think the British public actually hate politicians. Like, the British public, they're not dumb. So most of them is either might step vote on the show. I know black people don't vote for you. No one cares, but even the own British public, they don't like their politicians, and this is why they're never satisfied with who's in office. They're not satisfied with Matt Hancock. They're not satisfied with Boris. None of them. So the British public, they're very fussy, and they're mad at Matt Hancock, man. So he's going on the show trying to show, you know what, I'm somewhat of a decent guy. The British public don't care if you're a decent guy. They just want to know you do what you're supposed to do in politics. He's the health secretary. So he's the one that's talking about COVID and this and all of those things. He's the one that's saying, 2 meters apart, 5 meters apart. And then he's grabbing some next man, some next woman, is dealing with some next woman in the office, man. Meanwhile, this was at the same time when Matt Hancock was saying, if you and your wife don't live in the same house, you can't have sex. Remember when you were saying that?
Yeah. Meanwhile, the next man's woman. I have to laugh at my video gets me all the time. Matt Hancock, he really thought, like, in his mind, no camera was watching. He was getting down, Matt Hancock had the time of his life. So
and be a professional, man. You're at work, man. Why are you trying to have sex with someone at work, man? Be professional. If he is going to have sex with a woman, at least
hotel, man. He goes to a hotel afterwards or some shit.
The taxpayers' money, we're paying for Matt Hancock to do that, man.
To grab that,
You're paying for Matt Hancock to be having sex with the next man's wife. That's where our money's going. Meanwhile, he's the health secretary. He's the man that's meant to let us know what's going on, how much people are dying, what we need to do to not die, and everything he's telling us to not do, he's doing exactly that, man. He said that you can't have sex with your wife, and if you listen to Matt Hancock, you're a fool. So okay, if you listen to Matt Hancock, listen, man. He was saying you can't have sex with your wife because of the spread of COVID. Meanwhile, he's having sex with the next man's wife, man.
During COVID,
and
4K. Exactly,
on camera in the office. Listen, man, he deserved to. No, he didn't get set to retire before he got sacked.
Resigned still. What happened to the woman, man? Did she leave? I saw a picture of her packing and stuff on that.
I think her husband kicked her out, right?
Was she white?
She's Asian.
Yeah. Boy, man. For all we know, Matt Hancock's a gallish,
So,
yeah, it's like he got a little bit. It looks like he got a bit of like charisma, or something like. Look like he got a bit of something to him still. Yeah, he reminds me of Max Brennan. What's he saying?
Oh yeah.
He might have a Max Brennan still, So he probably got little talks and that. You get me, little flavor, and the white girls love him off. You get me? Ain't not gonna go for Boris. You get me? But Matt Hancock, man, slow down. No one will let him live it down. He's trying to just play it off like, stop, man. I made a mistake. I don't know what on the show to try to redeem himself. So on the show, try to show people, so I'm sorry, show the world how human he is. And it ain't working, man. People still talking about Matt Hancock grabbing Batty, man. trying to just brush it off, it ain't happening. Everyone's on him hard, man. Yo, listen, man, it's a wrap for Matt Hancock, man. But yo, that was the show. On the ends, we'll be here again. Started a bit late. We attended the event. You know what I mean? You're gonna see it come out. We're gonna go on I.S.U.P.K United Kingdom on Facebook, and you'll see under the I.S.U.P.K attending one event. Hence why we're late. But again, we're gonna be here again next week, every Friday, 9 to 11. Me, myself, Quatazar, Officer Dungelbar, Captain Parasha. Big up to everyone in the UK. Big up to everyone. Like, share, subscribe, pay your tithes. And we'll be here again next week on the end. Shalom.
Yeah. Are the Matrix? Sham Jeezy. Haratia. When me say U.P.K, UK. Well, anyway. We there a whole a rem span the ends. Me and me dog them a whole a med span the ends. Every man ya so lose friends span the ends. Torment Babylon a put stress pan we head pan the ends. We feel death span the ends. Every man a try be the next span the ends, dog. We fly out and one bend span the ends, but we die out and more dead pan the ends. Where me come from, you lucky if you live long day in a the war zone, but I no Pakistan. A the place where you juvenile a the big man. Graver you do time, brother pick one, yo. Man a fi bleach, but I never zone of the 6 pants and the rifle with kickstand. Quick answer to enemy, them response. You we dead if you a Christian, devil them strong. Me say, but it's a trick done. Them one we fall down in a the quicksand. Me kill a them where they are London, England. Teach me say the white man him is a trickster. The same struggle man a face in a Kingston. I see him struggle them a face in a Trinidad. All the way I go to Birmingham, Brixton. The link strong, it no matter what the distance. Hey, boom. We there a whole a rem span the ends. Me and me dog them a whole a med span the ends. Every man ya so lose friends span the ends. Torment Babylon a